Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the next in our People Lab Elements series. And today we're talking about the business case for employee engagement. So why bother with employee engagement? So I wanted to start by talking about the first piece of evidence published in 1998, the Harvard Business Review, which for the first time made the link between how people feel and business outcomes. So this is the Sears employee customer profit chain. And it was a piece of research done with obviously the Sears Group in the US that demonstrated that a 5-point increase in employee attitude correlated to a 1.3 increase in customer satisfaction, which correlated to a 0.5 increase in revenue growth. So very exciting at the time, almost 20 years old, this piece of research, but very exciting at the time when it proved that actually engagement matters and there is a correlation between how people feel and subsequent business performance. Since the publication of this first piece of research, there has been an overwhelming kind of body of evidence that's been gathered that really demonstrates beyond all doubt that employee engagement matters and it affects pretty much every business outcome that you can think of. I've got a screen grab here from a fantastic infographic published by the Engagement Success movement. It's free to download. We'll share the link afterwards, but it's a really, really great one-page infographic that kind of sums up all of the key data and evidence that demonstrates that employee engagement matters. So, for example, a few key stats to pull out here. Companies with highly engaged workforces have twice the annual profits, 2.5 times revenue growth, 12% higher customer satisfaction, 18% higher productivity, 40% lower turnover, and if you think about kind of cost of sort of 20 to 30k every time you lose an employee, you can see that is easy to use that stat and look at return on investment for engagement. And so the list goes on. So really, really good one-page infographic here that you can download. And this infographic is a summary of a fantastic piece of research done by the Engagement Success movement, which again is free to download. We'll send you the links afterwards. That's kind of got all of these different kind of studies and pieces of research in more depth, and actually used pretty much most of that research in chapter 2 of my book. So, you know, an overwhelming, hard to argue with body of evidence that engagement matters, and it's definitely worth bothering with. But for those people who are a little bit more cynical, a couple of other pieces of information here that I thought would be useful to share with you. The Gallup Q12, I like this piece of research because no matter what you think about the Q12 survey, I like the fact that Gallup didn't start out by looking at engagement. They started out by looking at productivity and said, all these high-performing businesses, what have they got in common? And obviously what they found in common was what we now know is their Q12 measures. But they found that, you know, these high-performing companies, you know, had lower sickness and lower turnover, etc. And the other piece of research that I really like is Watson Wyatt, which piece of research that demonstrated that engagement is a lead indicator rather than a lag indicator of companies' financial performance. So I often get challenged in workshops, which is good because it's always good to be challenged by people saying, yeah, but you know, if I work for a high-performing company, of course I'm going to be more engaged. But what this research shows is actually engagement comes first. So the correlation between engagement and subsequent performance is twice as large as the correlation between engagement and previous financial performance, which basically means engagement comes first. Now, I know for those of you out there, some of you have tricky stakeholders who, despite all this amazing evidence, might say, no, don't buy into it. Well, there is another tactic that I have up my sleeve that really helps to kind of get that buy-in, and that is Glassdoor. So I'm sure most of you have heard of Glassdoor by now, but for those of you that haven't, Glassdoor is a bit like TripAdvisor for companies, which means that anybody can go on and anonymously rate their company, either current or previous. Kind of rate their company, talk about what's good about working there, what's not good about working there, and they can even say whether they approve of their chief executive or not. So this is a great way to get people to kind of buy into the need to focus on engagement. In that the days of kind of being able to keep it a secret as to what your company felt like to work there are long gone. It's out in the open now. It's transparent, and this is a really great way to kind of get people to sort of focus on engagement. So if the business case fails, show them your Glassdoor ratings, and that's a great way to get people to say, yeah, we need to bother with this engagement thing. So that's pretty much it from us today. Our next session is on Monday the 10th of April at 3 o'clock. and we'll be looking at the psychology of engagement, so understanding why it works. So all those great results you just saw on that infographic previously, we're going to look at why it is we get those results. So thank you for listening, and hope to speak to you, hear from you, interact with you on the 10th of April. 3rd of April. Thank you. Bye. 10th of April. No, it was 10th of April.